I chose The Beautiful Changes, and this is how it goes. One waiting a fall meadow finds on all sides. The Queen Anne's lace lying like lilies, on water it glides, so from the walker it turns, dry grass to a lake, as the slightest shade of view. Valleys my mind in fabulous blue lucernous. The beautiful changes as a forest is changed, by chameleon turning his skin to it, as a mantis arranged on a green leaf grows into it, makes the leaf leafier, improves any greenness is deeper than anyone knows. Your hand holds roses, always in a way that says they are not only yours. The beautiful changes in such kind ways, wishing ever to sunder things and things selves, for a second finding to lose for a moment that it touches back to wonder. This poem is written by Richard Wilbur, and it uses visual imagery and figure of speech. And it talks about how change can be seen anywhere in nature and in life. It tells us, or Wilbur tries to tell us that change is inevitable. And it's something to be embraced, and it's something that's beautiful. The change in seasons, a leaf or a person, is all evident, and nothing can be hidden. When he talks about this in the poem, he says, Queen Anne's lace lying on lilies, on water it glides. And he uses the sentence to bring more of a human connotation into the poem, just to show that it can not only be seen in nature, but also in life. As the poem goes on, it further talks about how changes happen in nature in leaves, like the chameleon, a rose, etc. And he emphasizes how change is beautiful by making the sound of the poem just kind of flow. And when you're reading the poem aloud, it brings you like a sense of like calmness and peace. Wilbur says in lines 14 and 16, they are not only yours, the beautiful changes in such kind ways, wishing to ever sunder. That is on page 836. He says this to show how beautiful change is in people and in nature, and how it is inevitably part of life. At the end of the poem, he further explains how it is beautiful by saying that it's all wonder. What he means by this is that change of people and nature is so deep and continuous that our minds can just never really wrap around it. And I believe that Wilbur is fascinated by it when he's writing this poem. And this poem uses a rhyme scheme of A, B, C, A, C, D, C, which means the second and fifth line of the stanza does not rhyme in the poem. This poem is written in very smooth. If you read it out loud, it sounds very smooth and it flows well. And the form of this does depend on that. The lines are not too short, they're not too long, therefore it's easy for the reader to read it and kind of interpret it in their own way, understand it. But it doesn't rhyme because, or I believe it doesn't rhyme because the way that Wilbur wrote this poem was in a way that like he was able to express what he was trying to say. And I think he used the ABC, ACDC rhyme scheme to be able to portray that. So this poem means something to me and resonates with me because when I was transitioning from high school to college, as we all know, it's not the easiest thing. And when I went to my first semester of college, I went to go play volleyball somewhere. And it was, I was excited at first, and I didn't really know like what I was going into. And once I got there, it definitely hit me like a wall. I come from a town that's, everyone looks the same, everyone acts the same. Me and all my best friends are interested in the same things. So going off to college 4 hours away, it was a hard transition. I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't used to it. But once I got on the other side, I realized how beautiful that change was for me and how I needed that personally to grow and to mature. And so that's how I relate to this poem, because Wilbur is saying how change is beautiful in life, in nature, and how it is inevitable and something that, you know, you need to embrace.